Hello everybody, and just here and welcome back to Yofukashi no Uta, Call of the Night, episode 4. Sorry that this episode is late, but yesterday I had plans to record it, as I should have. But I returned home and I felt the call of the night myself and just went to sleep pretty much immediately. Spent the whole day walking around the city, climbing a tower, my legs are still killing me, sitting by the riverside. It was a nice time, but by golly, did it tire me. But here we are, right now, right here. We are finally watching Call of the Night, Yofukashi no Uta. In the previous episode, what happened? Again, not particularly much, because that's just how this series is. Quantitatively, ultimately, not much happens in each episode. There's just like one single thing that happens, not a whole mini arc, just one, maybe two things, and that's essentially it. And what happened in the previous episode is that Kou finally had the chance to talk with his childhood friend. I guess we can call her his childhood friend. And apparently, Nazuna is very open with the fact that she's a vampire. And the childhood friend now also knows that Nazuna is a vampire. And it seems like it's a little bit of a crossroad between Kou. Does he want to go with the childhood friend and come back to school and start living the days? Or does he want to continue with Nazuna and become a child of the night and become a vampire? Does he want to go the route of the light or the route of the darkness? Which is preferable here? So far, it seems like he has decided to take the path of the darkness to become a vampire, and that he does feel the call of the night. But everything can change yet. Uh, Anything else worth noting? No, not really. Just that Kou is given a choice, and now he has to pick. He has to choose. And I think we all know what he's going to choose, but I also have a feeling that it's not going to be as simple. That we're gonna get a little deeper into his head, into his mind, maybe even deeper into Nazuna's head, maybe into his childhood friend's head. It's gonna be interesting. I think. I hope. I predict, I guess, because the series has been plenty interesting so far. I can't. No, I don't want any music from Spotify. Why the fuck did the Google Assistant just activate? Could you shut up, please? I never use Google Assistant. Why the fuck was it activated right now? And what the fuck did it just search for on the internet? I'm scared to look it up. Okay, and I can't look it up because my phone is my camera, so. But yeah, anyway, subs, as always, because we're gonna start watching it, because we won't know what's gonna happen if we don't see what's gonna happen. It really is as simple as that. Simple as they say. Subs, sound, because I also need something, and support, because you guys can support me on Patreon, Throne, or by sharing my content, so check the description or just share my stuff. And with all that out of the way, we can start watching Yofukashi no Uta episode. Are the colors weird? I guess this is a little bit more desaturated, but maybe looks a little better. Is the audio desynced? I don't know. Uh, okay, fuck it. What's gonna happen is gonna happen. Episode 4. Yofukashi Call of the Night, version by subs, please, as usual, starting in 3, 2, 1, go. That intro was disheveled. School. And again, daytime is desaturated. Right. The need to conform, the conforming to society, those kind of themes. I gotta admit, I struggle with it myself. My day-night cycle is anything but usual, anything but normal, but it's not easy to live a life without conforming to society approved hours. So yeah, and I don't have the ability to fall back onto a vampire girl that might turn me into a vampire. So that's also a bummer. Hmm. It looks like Kou's disappearance or him leaving school did have quite an effect on her. That's another reason why I prefer the night. Nothing's going on. Nothing to take away my attention. Everyone's asleep. I can do my stuff in peace. Why are the subs in Romanji now instead of translated? Previous episode where it was translated lyrics. Now we have Romaji. Usually they have like Romaji at the top and translation at the bottom. But it is, the subs are like ripped from Funimation or Crunchyroll or wherever Yofukashi is airing. So yeah, no wonder that there isn't particularly much care put into that. Ah, yes, the memory of a kiss. Oh, she's just waiting. I guess she's no longer running away, yeah. She's not in the mood to play cat and mouse. Is called a kiss. Indeed. She did. The three drunks? The three drunks. Ah, they're watching a show. Sure, sounds like a great idea. Yes. uh, he hopes to become a vampire, right? I don't think it's love yet. Yeah, I don't think it's quite love. Not quite yet. Ah, and of course he's gonna act all cocky. Because of course. Have fallen in love with you? Yeah, I'm not certain that's the case. And of course, Nazuna isn't great about all the romantic stuff. And the bloom, the glow. I I keep repeating it with every episode, but I adore what they're doing with lighting and color in this series. Yeah, not quite yet. Why'd she unbutton the cloak, though? And watch as nothing changes. Yeah. Yeah, you haven't fallen in love. Yes, he doesn't know what love is. It's really as simple as that. He's looking at effects, not at the cause. Thing is, effects don't cause causes effects. And indeed, love and lust are separate. Yes. Yes, probably. And the poses again. Oh, oh, that's the first time we see the blob face stylized this much. Right, you kiss your homies goodnight. That's true. What's the gesture here, Nazuna? Can't sleep? Yep. And she's already going on a walk. Late at night. Probably not. Look who's talking. Yeah. Okay, they're just gonna play games. I mean, it's a fun nighttime activity. Absolutely. I still can't get over just how empty Nazuna's flat is, though. Yeah. Sun. Totally not Sony. Right. Oh, I love the increase in stylization in this episode. Of course. Not yet, at least. Oh, okay. A visual novel. Doki Doki Suing Clap. Okay, of course. They're playing into the tropes. It's as simple as that. That's what light visual novels are all about. Don't go, game ends. You lost. Extreme introvert. With probably some dose of like conditional agoraphobia or something. I don't know. Social anxiety. Illusion of choice. Class president? She definitely looks like a class president. Or maybe not. The most meek one, of course. Is bosom more erotic? I don't know. Maybe, in some world. Right, it's the size of the heart that matters, not the size of the boobs. I mean, he definitely is up to something sketchy. He's up to becoming a vampire, but in the process, I guess it is kinda wholesome as well. They do. It's just friends sharing a futon. What's so indecent about it? A dream scenario. Yeah, you're joining. Yeah. Is it? Oh, I guess it is raining. Ah, oh, I think he's crying because he didn't become a vampire. But I guess she's a vampire, that's the deal. Vampires eat blood. Yeah. Yeah, everybody gets what they want out of this exchange. Yeah, because he wants to become a vampire. Yep, yep, that's about the reaction I expected. Because he never had any plans, he never had any wants, any aspirations, desires. Nope. Oh, I love how Nazuna acts in this little scene. And of course, she's embarrassed by the romantic stuff, so she doesn't want Ko to say it. Yep, of course. More effective than garlic. Mentions of romance. Yeah. Let's go to sleep. Yeah. She's gonna fall asleep. Calling it now. And it's gonna be the best sleep of her life. I wonder if there's something more to it. Like, I don't know, vampire pheromones or something that make people more sleepy. Or something like that. Wouldn't be surprised. Kind of like there are some species of animals that paralyze their prey and then eat that prey. Vampires also put their prey to sleep and then they can drink blood easier. He is worried. And hand touch. Don't you want to become a vampire as well? Oh, well, there's the issue of longevity. She's not wrong. A human and a vampire can be friends. True. Yeah, she's gonna fall asleep like a baby. No, you won't. You're gonna be late. You're gonna sleep until midday. Until noon. Midday is a weird way to put it. You know, like midnight, but midday. I guess it works. Yeah, as I thought. Wasn't that a good night's sleep? Yeah, she did. I can vouch for that. I can absolutely vouch for that. I slept like a baby yesterday, and I woke up right as rain, and my camera fucking died. Thankfully, it's the end of the episode. Ah, fuck. Why is it so zoomed out? Why am I so bright? There we go. That should do it. Uh, and again with the Romaji instead of the translation. Interesting. But yeah, on the topic, I genuinely can vouch for the fact that you sleep well when you're satisfied with your day. Usually when I just do nothing during my day, I mean, I maybe record a video, but play some games, watch some YouTube or something, but don't do anything much. I usually like prolong the time I'm awake, and I go asleep each day later and later and later and later and later until I go asleep at like in the morning, then at noon, and it rolls back into proper schedule. But yesterday I was satisfied with my day. I was tired and I slept like a baby. So I can absolutely vouch for that. This anime really hits close to home. Both in the themes of conformism versus non-conformism, in the themes of the call of the night, right? Liking the night, the nightly life. Yeah, I really do enjoy this series. It really does hit close to home, and it's just great. It's just great. It's genuinely amazing. Call of the Night. Okay, how about now we go through this episode uh, again, shall we? Hopefully my camera doesn't die anymore. Uh, right, this is a. I think I already made note of that, but it's crazy how they managed to make the night so bright and inviting and lively, and the daytime is completely dull and grayscale, monochrome, mundane, and bleak. It's crazy how they managed to do that. I mean, it is clear how they managed to do that, right? Washed out colors during daytime, very bright neon colors during nighttime. That's really all they needed to do. But even when it comes to like the amount of details everywhere, during daytime you have just a bright blue sky with some clouds. That's it. During nighttime, you have stars and galaxies and neons, and even the sky is bright and colorful and calling out to you. A couple of days ago, I got like incredibly happy. I haven't felt this happy in my recent memory. because I was able to spot full on constellations on the night sky. Very little thing, but it made me just overflowing with joy because I live in a city. The air isn't the most clean. Light pollution is a problem. Usually, it's fairly cloudy outside, especially during night. But that was one night where I could genuinely see the stars, check them on the star atlas, and name each and every one of them. And I stood by my window for like half an hour just looking at the stars, just being in awe at it. And I really like that this show uses that as well to show just how beautiful and pretty and inviting night can be. I wish the sky in my city was like the sky in this city, like completely littered with stars and galaxies. But this is not the kind of a view you can get even like in the furthest reaches away from civilization. It's very idealized, sure, but still very beautiful. I'd be happy with even that, with even this kind of a nightscape. What hurts the most is that I had this kind of nightscape when I lived uh, bu- uh not by the city, outside of the city, and not a village like a small town kind of thing. That was my nightscape, but it's not in the city. Yeah, I talked about it in previous episodes, so I'm not gonna get too much into detail, but yeah, one more reason why this show hits so close to home. And she's also having trouble sleeping. Until she falls asleep with Ko and Nazuna. I wonder if it genuinely is just the like psychological effect that she was able to fall asleep better by just having someone to say goodnight to and having someone else in the room and being satisfied with her day. Or is it actually genuinely like vampiric pheromones at work here, or something like that? Vampiric aura, or I don't know, call it what you will. We haven't really uh, talked much, not at all, actually, about like the magic, otherworldly aspect of being a vampire. Like we know vampires can fly, and that's it. There isn't really any more magic about them, at least as far as we can tell. Nazuna hasn't shown us any powers of turning into bats or turning into mist or being able to hypnotize people or anything of the sort. It's very grounded so far. I wonder if it's gonna remain that way. Or are we gonna go get more into detail about like the nature of vampires and stuff like that? That would be interesting. Knowing the mangaka, who's the original creator, hard to tell, honestly. The only series of his that I'm familiar with is Dagashikashi. Dagashikashi was amazing. It never really was getting into like in depth about anything, but then again, it was a purely comedic show. There weren't any deeper themes there. In case of Yofukashi no Uta, there are some like deeper psychological themes. So the mangaka's take on it might be a little different, so it's very hard for me to predict. Could go either way. The act of one's lips touching someone else. Yeah, we kissed, so that must mean I love Nazuna-chan already. I achieved my goal. Yeah, his mistaking the cause and effect, essentially, or rather, he sees correlation, but that doesn't necessarily imply causation, right? Like, and although does Occam's razor apply here? Not really, I don't think. Because Occam's razor says that the simplest explanation is usually the true one, or rather, like the actual meaning of the Occam's razor is that the simplest explanation should be your start point to the investigation. For example, you see hoof prints outside of your window, and so unless you live in like Africa, the best explanation of those hoof prints is that someone's horse ran away and just walked by your window. The best explanation isn't that a zebra fled the local zoo, right? So you should start investigating from the angle of it just being a regular horse. It might turn out to be a zebra, but you shouldn't assume that in the first as the first explanation. In case of a kiss, though, Occam's razor doesn't really apply, or rather, Cole made the assumption that a kiss means love because people who are in love kiss. So it makes sense that he'd assume love was involved. Problem is, he doesn't know what exactly love is. So he just saw the effect and assumed something happened, right? He saw the effect and assumed the cause. I'm trying to look for a for something like parallel for another example of something like that, but what could it be? What could we compare it to? I don't know. Nothing comes to mind, but you know what I mean, right? He saw the kiss, he saw the effect, and he assumed the cause, even though he doesn't have any other basis for assuming the cause. But the problem is he wouldn't be able to recognize the cause because he has no experience with it, right? He has no experience with love. He doesn't know what love is, so it would be hard for him to recognize it. Although I have a feeling that the moment he does fall in love, he will actually genuinely know and he will recognize it. But right now he's just going by the effects and assuming the cause. Going a little bit backwards in his assumptions. And of course he's acting all cocky, showing off his neck. That's indecent. And of course, Nazuna isn't great about romance. I love her oversized thing to her cape. Why did she unbutton it? I don't know. How does it stay on? I've absolutely no clue. But it does stay on somehow. Chomp. And nothing happened. Yeah, it wasn't love. It was lust. Two forms of what's it called in like philosophy? There is eros, there is like different types of love, right? Eros, something else, and something else. Like three types. One is platonic love, like between friends. One is romantic love, and one is sexual love, erotic love. So three angles to it, and I'm guessing you become a vampire when you feel the romantic love. Not the platonic love, because they kinda already have a platonic relationship. Not the erotic love, because I guess they have that as well, but it's specifically about the romantic love. Interesting. It's not healthy to think of romantic love and lust as separate things. But yeah, at least in this case, it's probably what it is. In this case, it was separate. And the overly rendered lips, the lens flares, the pose. I love everything about the style of this show. Absolutely. Kissing is what you do with friends. Yes, of course, Nazuna would be the one to say it. She kisses all her homies goodnight. I like how we are including Akira here. She didn't just immediately become a mainstay. We still do have those moments between just Ko and Nazuna. Many shows, when they introduce a new character, that character just immediately becomes a part of the group and is present at every moment in every single episode. Sometimes it works, but I like the slow approach that this show is taking. That they're slowly introducing Akira to their little friends group. I guess you could call it at this point. With Akira being here, three is a group. If you win, I'll give you a kiss. Yeah, with an obscene monster like this, it's hard for me to be understanding. Also, I really like how absolutely chill Akira is. I really like how it's how should I say it? It's very common trope, I guess. At this point, you can call it that in anime, in manga, in light novels, that people freak out all the time. Right? It's I don't know what exactly the appeal is to that, but I guess in the same vein as loud is funny, freak out is funny. It's kind of similar situation here. I really do like how chill Akira is about it. How real everybody feels here. Because I mean, if you heard about stuff like that, you wouldn't just freak out and punch your friend or slap him in the face or, stuff like that. It'd probably be like, yeah, dude, like I get it, you're making your choices and it's not my business, but doesn't sit well with me, so maybe like think about it twice, right? That's how people act. And I like it. I really do enjoy how everybody here really acts like real people. Doki Doki Suing Club, of course. Let's go to school, and of course he doesn't want to go to school. Yeah, I don't want to go to school. You're always like this, let's go already, of course. What was the point of the selection? There was no point. An illusion of choice. All too common in visual novels. There was a period where I've been playing many visual novels, and I fucking hate it, not gonna lie, where choices don't matter. That's why I never played any, like, kinetic novels. No, sorry. I think there was one kinetic novel I did play with, like, a Cyclops girl. Can't remember the title of it. But yeah, the main heroine and the only heroine was a Cyclops girl. That was a kinetic novel that I did play. Besides that, I just completely avoid kinetic novels because what the fuck is the point of a choice if it has no bearing on the story? There's none. So can it really even be called a gameplay? Or is it just an elaborate manga except with just silhouettes of characters instead of proper panels? So I'd rather read a manga because it's more varied visually. And of course, even this, okay, of course, I said not of course. This light visual novel actually does seem to take player choices into account because he chose to not go to school, and that probably caused them to stay a little bit later here, stand around, and this girl bumped into him, and that's another route open. Cool. Are girls who don't have to talk with are girls who don't have to talk with whose bosoms are huge your are girls you don't have to talk with whose bosoms are huge your type. Okay, I get it. I get the meaning of the sentence now. It's probably the first part that's Cole's type. I don't know about the second one. It's more erotic to say bosom instead of breasts. When he said he was fooling around, I thought he might be up to something sketchy, but no, it's fairly wholesome. And now we're going to sleep. A guy and a girl sleeping together is indecent enough, isn't it? No, it's not. And today, it's a guy, girl, girl, you know. Of course, Nazuna with the lewd jokes, despite not being able to handle anything even remotely romantic. Something smells nice, of course. Of course, Japanese media and their obsession with smell. And oh no, it's raining. You can't exactly go out. I don't have an umbrella. Why the shot of her socks? I don't know, but here we are. I told you not to do it in front of my friend, of course. Isn't guilty pleasure great for spicing things up? I guess. A little bit of voyeurism here and there never hurt anybody, right? People from Hataraku Sama could vouch for it. Especially Chiho and Emilia's friend, whose name I still can't remember. Supply and demand, yeah. I want to give her blood, she wants to take my blood. Perfect exchange. And yeah, I want to become a vampire. You never liked talking about what you want to be someday, did you? Because he never wanted to be someone. He never had any goals. He was just going along. He was just skirting along. Never thinking of the future. Just living in the present. If a vampire drinks her blood, and of course Nazuna gets very flustered because it involves romance. Just getting my blood sucked isn't enough, I also need to fall in love. She's steaming, it really is more effective than garlic. Also, one more interesting thing I noticed in this show. Usually when vampires are involved, at some point, fairly early on, there is some talk about either confirming all the vampire mythologies, like don't like garlic, don't like crosses, don't like sunlight, and so on, or completely invalidating those beliefs. Like, oh yeah, I do like garlic, but it gives me a little bit of a heartburn. And no, the sun doesn't kill me. I simply just get tanned really easily and I get sunburned. Or, stuff like that. Usually you go through it fairly early. We haven't focused on that whatsoever. We haven't even mentioned that in passing. There was nothing about, like, even Nazuna saying, oh, it's sun's rising up, time for me to peace out, Nothing along those lines. Interesting. I'm wondering why that is. Could be because either. No, there actually is, I think, like one single explanation. It doesn't matter. Like, for the purpose of the story, it doesn't matter. All that matters is she's a vampire. All the action takes place at night, so we don't have to deal with daytime activities and what's Nazuna gonna do during daytime, right? Because everything that matters takes place at night. And also I think it is in part because Nazuna is a literal vampire, sure, but I think there is a layer of how should I call it? Not an allegory, but a layer of like symbolism to the whole thing. Like, sure, Nazuna is a literal vampire, but we shouldn't treat this entire situation entirely literally. Right? There is some, I guess maybe even an allegory to wanting to not conform at its like very basic form. It's a story about nonconformism at its root, told through the medium of a boy who is already nonconforming and that causes him issues, and he's trying to find a way to be able to comfortably live in a nonconforming way. And his goal, the possibility that he has is becoming a vampire. And sure, you can look at it literally, but you can look at it through the lens of, I don't know, people who just simply function better at night. Because there absolutely are people who are absolutely miserable during daytime but feel the best at night. And they still need to work. They still need to earn money somehow. They still need to, like, buy groceries. And all of that is done during daytime. And they have to find ways to somehow deal with that, either by conforming, which is kinda the Akira side here, or by finding some alternative ways, which is kind of like Nazuna side here, right? For example, I don't know, working remotely for an overseas company, or being a freelancer, or I don't know, doing Patreon stuff or OnlyFans or whatever, right? That you can do at your own rhythm, at your own pace. Yeah, ultimately it is a story about non-conforming and finding ways to deal with that need to not be conforming to society. I think I've been talking in circles for a little bit here. But I think I said what I wanted to say. I probably didn't articulate it very well, but that's on me. If you stay lying down, you might just fall asleep. Indeed. I thought I should at least show you, because I guess I made you worry. That's very considerate of Kou. Genuinely very considerate of him. Has there been fun? It has. And yeah, you can lay down your hands. I don't mind. I said I want to be a vampire, but don't you? Even if you become a vampire, we can still be friends. Absolutely. There's already precedence between you and Nanakusa. Indeed. And yeah, you can still go to school. And again, there's the thing with like non-conforming here. I know on my own example of not having a regular sleep schedule, it's kind of hard sometimes to meet up with friends because they end their work at like 16 o'clock and I might be going to sleep at 15. And how are you gonna meet up then? Right? And yet we can still remain friends through online messaging, through meeting up every now and then when my sleep cycle just happens to align with all the other world's sleep cycle. You can absolutely look at this show just completely on the surface, and it's amazing. And you can really look at it through a very like symbolic, allegoric lens, and it also holds up really well. Cool. I haven't said goodnight in ages. I always fall asleep so early. I'm not sleepy anyway. Cue her falling asleep. And waking up 4 hours later. And of course, Nanakusa, Nazuna, smug, as she's wont to do. People sleep well when they're satisfied with their day, you see. Do you feel satisfied? Yeah. She had a nice heart-to-heart. She slept during rain, which again, I know by my own example, I sleep the best when I hear raindrops pounding at my windows and the like sheet metal windowsill outside. It's the best lullaby. If it's storm, that's even better. Interesting. Very, very interesting. And I'm gonna tell you why exactly. Daytime is completely drab and devoid of color. Daytime is colorful. Daytime is colorful. Probably for the first time in the show, we see daytime in color. It's colorful, it's saturated, not quite as saturated as nighttime, but it still bears some resemblance to the nighttime, right? There's some lens flares, rainbow lens flares. There's some bloom, there's some light, there's a lot of saturated color on the screen. Interesting. Interesting. I think it might also symbolize the change of her mind a little bit. Like she was just going to school on autopilot, not exactly caring about it, then falling asleep and not being able to sleep because she didn't really accomplish anything during daytime. A very automatic day night cycle. You go to school, you come back, you eat dinner, go to sleep. Wake up, go to school, eat dinner, go to sleep. Wake up, go to school, right? Going completely automatic about her life. Now there was a little bit of spice, and it immediately brought up colors in her life. I like it, really do. Of course, ending is a banger, but we all already knew that. And that was episode 4 of Yofukashi no Uta Call of the Night, and what can I say? Another great episode. One thing I did notice is that we didn't have the musical number this time around, which is interesting. I thought it's gonna be a mainstay that we have a scene like a few minutes long in every episode where it's just music and walking around the city or flying around the city and some pretty visuals and some great music to just sit back, relax, and vibe to the absolute beauty of it. It wasn't here in this episode. I don't mind it. I don't mind it because if they included it, we wouldn't have as much time for the heart to heart that Akira had with Ko. We wouldn't have as much time for everything else that happened in this episode, so it's perfectly fine by me. But it is still worth mentioning that something that's been a mainstay so far hasn't been a case, hasn't appeared in this episode. What else? What else? What else? What else? As I mentioned before, I really like the way they're slowly including Akira in their little nighttime activities, and I like that she started benefiting from that. That's very cool. That she now had a good night's sleep for the first time in who knows how long. That her life is a little bit more vibrant right now. It's yeah, like initially my not idea, but initially the way I was looking at it is kind of a versus situation. Akira representing the day and Nazuna representing the night, but perhaps not. Perhaps it's not that Nazuna fights with Akira metaphorically, but rather that Nazuna is going to be able to help Akira as well, which is a very interesting idea. Very interesting. I wonder if Nazuna's gonna try and drink Akira's blood at some point. I don't know, just a random thought that came to my mind. Probably. Although, maybe not. Again, this anime proves to be very hard for me to predict what's gonna happen. Because it can go in any number of ways, honestly, and each of them seems good. So I wouldn't mind it going any way it chooses to go. So thumbs up for that. What else? What else? What else? I don't really have much more to say that would be new. That wouldn't be just reiterating my points that I made before, right? The use of colors, of course, the beauty, the saturated daytime world that we see for the first time, the maturity of all the characters, the realness of them all. You heard that already, everything. So I think we should just end it right here and not prolong it any further. I'm just gonna be waiting for the next episode and seeing what other ways it can find to hit me right in the feels with. Or rather, I guess it's not really a show that hits right in the feels, but it's relatable. right? I wonder what other ways it will find to be relatable to me. That's gonna be interesting. That's certainly gonna be interesting. But right now, that's gonna be it. So you guys, you tell me down in the comments below, what did you think of this episode, of my reaction, of my theories, if I had any. Don't spoil me anything, please, I beg of you. I know there's the original manga going around, and you probably are familiar with it. Don't spoil me the manga, don't spoil me the anime. I'm probably gonna read the manga as well after the anime is done, so I'd rather you keep the spoilers to zero, not even to minimum, to zero. If you do want to talk spoilers with other people who might be familiar with the source material, Discord, here also in the description, there's the Yofukashi no Uta channel. There you can use spoiler tags and talk spoilers right out there. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, but tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of not only Yofukashi no Uta, but also Symphogear GX, also Ruby Ice Queendom, also a mystery show that I'm gonna be revealing very shortly because the time for the poll is slowly ticking away. Of Overlord Season 4, which is amazing, of Hataraku Mao-sama Season 2, and anything else I'm watching this season. If I am and I forgot, you can just click the link, go to my channel, see what I'm watching. It's really as simple as that. Like, comment, subscribe. Support on Patreon, link in the description. You can support me monetarily in there for $10 a month to get early access to non-seasonal shows like Symphogear GX, like the mystery show that is incoming. For $5 a month, you get to vote in polls like the one that's currently underway, and for just a single dollar, you get a role on the Discord and you get a place in the credits that will be appearing very shortly. There's also Throne, where you can pitch into like towards specific things, like you can you think I need a new camera, so you can throw $5 towards the purchase of that specific camera. That's cool, that's new. Check it out if you want, don't if you don't, simple as that. And if you just don't want to spend any money, I will be forever grateful if you just share my content around. Tell your friends, tell your family about what I'm doing, because the word of mouth really does matter a lot for the growth of a channel. Join my Discord, it's open, free to everybody, don't need any Patreon or anything, you can just join it, just like that, link in the description and link also here. And yeah, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's the credits that I mentioned. You can be part of this list or create your own new tier. Well, I mean, join a tier and create your own new list. I guess list, that's not the correct pronunciation.